What's up, YouTube? Filthy Casual here. I gotta go soon, so we are going to one take this. Welcome to another Best Worst. This one is obviously, as you can see, about the Warriors. I know I've been doing a ton of Western Conference teams, but that's what I want to talk about. We're going to head over to the Eastern Conference right after this. But for now, we're talking about the Golden State Warriors, who obviously are the defending champions. And if you've listened to pretty much any of my videos, you know I probably talk about them too much and believe they're going to go back to back. Now, why do I think this? Well, there's a lot of reasons. One, they're my favorite team with my favorite player. Well, outside the Knicks, but favorite player for sure. Steph Curry is definitely my favorite player, and I just have a feeling in my heart of hearts that Steph Curry is the best player I've seen play basketball. And the only people who I think are even close, or the only person I think is even close to as good as I've seen Steph Curry be, is LeBron James, really. And I honestly feel that way. And I don't even think LeBron was necessarily better. But, if somebody says LeBron is had a higher whatever, I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. But I might. Moving on. So I obviously believe a hell of a lot in Steph Curry, which is why I led with it. I think his greatness is something that will carry this team, and I think the maturity and poise he showed in last year in the playoffs and in the finals was something that very few players, I think, have ever done. Now, why do I think this? Well, Steph Curry and the Warriors were like the 15th rated offense during the regular season, which, if you weren't aware, basically means it's impossible for you to win the title. The vast majority of teams in the last, well, I'll say 75 years, but I do believe it's the modern era. So post 1980, I think it is, post 1980, it's pretty much impossible to win an NBA championship unless you are a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. Generally speaking, if you look at that, most championships, as in pretty much all of them, require you to be a top 5 offense, top 5 defense. The only exception to that rule pretty much was I believe it was the Detroit Pistons. They didn't have a top 5 rated offense. And also I think it was the 2020 Lakers. I think they weren't technically a top 5 offense. I think they were top 10. But they had LeBron and they had AD and they had a lot of talent, and it was also in the bubble. So it's a pretty short list. So basically, if you don't meet these requirements, you're screwed. It's the same way as if you're a 6 seed. Like, well, it's only happened like once in NBA history that a 6 seed has actually won the title, which is the Houston Rockets in 19 whatever, the one of the Jordan years that he was retired. That was the only time a 6 seeded ever won the title, and this is also similarly one of the only times in NBA history that a non-top 5 offense defense team actually managed to win the title, which is a big sign. If, hey, like, the rest of the team has another year to improve, and if you can carry on that squad, like, that's some crazy stuff. I think that the starting 5, the starting lineup, obviously the depth chart I've had above, I haven't talked about it yet, unlike normal, but that's because I got a lot to say. The depth chart is obviously Steph Curry, Klay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Kevon Looney at the center as the starters. And then you've got Poole, Kuminga, Wiseman coming off the bench with also Dante DiVincenzo, Moses Moody, and JaMychal Green. Quinndary Weatherspoon is like a G League player or like a second round undrafted type of player who's been kind of on the roster, sort of, but like also not really. He is okay, I guess. Like, I don't feel it was like when Warriors fans were like, "Oh yeah, Nico Mannion's gonna be good for us." Like, no, he's not. Like, this dude's not gonna get PT. He's not good enough. You might like the guy, but it's just the way of the world. And it's the same thing with Weatherspoon. So let's focus on everyone else. I don't feel like I need to say anything else that I haven't already said about Steph Curry. Andrew Wiggins obviously proved himself to be one of the best defenders in the league over this past NBA season, especially during the playoffs. He also made his first All-Star appearance, and it might be followed up by another depending on how the season goes. Klay Thompson obviously is coming off of an injury where two injuries really, but he's clearly shown that he can come back and still be a positive defender. His defensive woes compared to his previous self are much overblown, in my opinion. He still has had many possessions of really good defense. I think the weaknesses in his defense are more so from him not playing in the league for like 2 years, like nine, more than 2 years. It was like almost 1,000 days. It's like 1,000 days or something. It was like 3.5 years, but it was only 2 seasons. It was something crazy like that. And like the fact that he was able to come back and shoot the way he did, even I know his percentages weren't as good as normal, but the fact that he hadn't played in so long and he was still able to come in the middle of the season, shoot a decent percentage, play really good defense, because it was really good defense. It wasn't, all NBA level, but it was still really good defense. And sorry, all defensive team level, but still, like he's getting there. And once with more time to get his feet under him, he is going to be good. And not only good, but much, much better than what we saw of him in this past NBA Finals. And I think that's important to at least note. Obviously, Draymond Green is getting older, but his defense was still elite. I think he was the best defender in the league last year when he was actually playing. He missed like 40-something games, which was really unfortunate and kind of killed his DPOY chances, and also kind of killed the MVP chances and stuff. If you watched my ranking video, you'll see I had the Warriors as a 3 seed again. They could totally be the 1 seed. They are totally freaking capable of it as long as everybody's healthy, which is something this team hasn't had in a very long time. Last time Steph, Klay, and Draymond were on a team by themselves, fully healthy for the season without Kevin Durant, they won 73 wins. They got 73 wins. So they're more than capable of winning more than 60 games with this squad. It's just a matter of will they try for it. And they very well might. But I think they're more postseason focused at the moment, and the regular season is much more for the young guys to really gun for it. Now, who are these young guys? Well, Kevon Looney's actually shockingly young. The dude looks like 35, but like I'm pretty sure 25, might be 26. I'm not. I'm good. I'll double check. But Kevon Looney is 26 years old. Yes, he's actually kind of on the young side, which is a little bit weird to say, but he is a solid starting center for them. I don't think on any line matchup I'm really like, oh, Looney's gonna get destroyed, except for Embiid or Jokic, and everybody's getting destroyed by those guys. Other than that, they've got Poole, who's coming off the bench. I don't think Kevon Looney will get much better than what he currently is. I think he knows his role. I think he plays his role fantastically, and he will continue to succeed in his role, whether that is as a starter or as a bench player when Wiseman eventually figures it out, if he eventually figures it out, which I am on the side that he will. Jordan Poole obviously had a fantastic breakout season last year, which is all the more inspiring because, oh my goodness, this guy sucked so bad in his first season. He was so terrible. I was on the trade Jordan Poole train. This was our first round pick. Oh my goodness. For the entire first year, the dude got sent to the G League. He had this goofy looking haircut. I was like, this guy is buns. Second year rolls around. I'm like, how is this guy still on the team and we got rid of Eric Pascal? Like, how did that happen? I was like, what? How? Like, I understand and I'm going to trust him, but like, why? What? How did they do this? And the next season, he's still sucking. It's like halfway through the year. I'm like, this guy is trash. He sucks. And then he goes to the G League for like a month or two, and then he comes back and he's actually playing well. And I'm like, oh, freaking finally, this guy's actually making more than like 20% of his shots. Like, holy heck. And it was all over from there. And then he just kind of slowly got better. And it's like you saw it in real time, him figure it out. He's figuring it out. And then once he figured it out, it was done. And I think it's going to be the same thing for the postseason. He struggled after his first series against the Nuggets, who, let's be real, aren't the best defensively. and he struggled against maybe some better defensive teams like the Mavericks and the Celtics, and to a lesser degree the Grizzlies. But he was also dealing with a reduced role. But he still, did a really good job and was a big tempo changer for that team on the bench unit. Considering before him, the bench after Steph Curry was literally losing them the game every time. Like they were one of the 5 best offenses in the league with him on the court, and then without him, they were like, I think it was like 20. It was really bad. They were bottom tier. It was not good. It was not a good look. And Klay coming back from injury and shot shucking for a lot of the season really didn't help that. And I think that's all going to improve. Another year under his belt, Poole is looking to improve upon his defense and his consistency. I think that's the only thing holding him back from getting real minutes. But, well, I mean, he's already gotten real minutes, but you know what I mean. Being a player that you have to play as opposed to a player that, like, it's maybe a little bit more matchup dependent. Jonathan Kuminga is, dude, I could rant about this dude for forever. I will try to keep it short. He is so ridiculously athletic. I've never seen anything like this guy. He's probably the closest thing to a young Giannis that I've seen personally, where he is just like so lanky and he'll just suddenly pull something out of nowhere and just like dunk. And you'll just be like, wait, what just happened? This guy is so fast. Now, he cannot dribble at all. He can't. His shooting mechanics are disgusting looking, and he's super raw, but he's super talented, and you can see it. And I think his pathway forward in the league is to get really good at defense, continue to work on his offensive move set, but really just work on his defense, and because he can already score 20 a night just purely based off his athleticism. So if he works on his defense and actually gets minutes, he can slowly build up that offensive potential, work on his shot, work on his, maybe instead of only having a spin move, maybe he's got a euro, and then suddenly he actually looks like Giannis, and who knows? I don't think it's going to be Giannis, but he might be the next best thing, if you know what I mean. Like, not the best, but, he's not your favorite candy from the shop, but he's your second favorite, is what I'm saying. Dante DiVincenzo and JaMychal Green were both off-season additions, mainly brought in to replace the loss of Gary Payton II and Otto Porter Jr. Obviously, the losses of those two team players were really bad. I'm going to move that out of my face. Were really bad for the team because they gave them a lot of value. However, I think it's made sense given the state of their financial salary cap, which, if you aren't aware, they are so far in the luxury tax that they were almost going to have to spend more on luxury tax than they did to buy the team. They're about to spend $400 million on luxury tax, $462 million, and I think it cost them just over $500 million to buy the team when Joe Lacob and his management group. So it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. So it's not particularly surprising that they let them walk. I think Nemanja Bjelica is still. If you go on ESPN, it says that Bjelica is still on the roster, although I have not heard that he is returning. And it also doesn't have his contract details, so I'm not quite certain what's going on with that. But Bjelica also might be back. Not that that's super important, but he gave them really good minutes during the regular season, so it is something of note. But Dante DiVincenzo is pretty much brought in to be Gary Payton's replacement, play defense, make corner threes if you can, cut to the rim and play big if you can, although I don't know if he'll be able to do that quite like Gary Payton, which was like so shocking. It's like, oh, the big man's out here guarding the other big man on the perimeter, as one does nowadays. And Gary Payton suddenly just under the basket with a free layup, and it happened all the time in the regular season. JaMychal Green is an okay defender, not particularly intelligent. I'm worried how he particularly will fit in with this Warriors system. I think it's not that I think he's stupid. It's just that I don't think Kelly Oubre is particularly stupid either. But some people, just the system isn't catered to their strengths, And I think Jermichael Green, while he is a hard-nosed type of player where he will learn and he will try his heart out, I don't know if it's necessarily in his wheelhouse. But he had a down year last year. He normally is a very good 3-point shooter. Last year, he stunk it up from three. He shot like 20 something percent. It was bad. In this year, hopefully with the Warriors offense, he will get, maybe a couple more touches than he's used to because of everybody's passing the ball, and maybe he gets a couple more touch shots in his wheelhouse, and maybe they're a bit more open because you're playing with Steph Curry, who's going to get you the most open of anybody else, and maybe he's going to make some more shots. I'm not totally sold on him, but okay. The only other person on this team is Moses Moody, who I feel like some people are way too high on, where they think he's like gonna be this. Whoa, he could be like an all-star. Like people say that stuff. I don't see the all-star potential in Moses Moody, but I do see like really strong role player type of potential where he's gonna be like Otto Porter Jr. this year for us, or maybe he's going to be closer to like Jay Crowder, where like every team wants him. Like I think he's going to be able to be like ideal 3-and-D type of guy. I don't think that he needs much more time to be that guy. I think that he showed that he could do it last year, and he actually got a lot more PT than the other rookies down the stretch of games, other than Poole, obvious. But Poole's not a rookie, but you know what I mean. Other than the other young guys, because he was trustable. You could trust him to make a right decision, and that's big. And he's 6'6". He can guard. He can do a lot of stuff. So he's big for a shooting guard. You can run him at the three. You could do a lot with him, and I think he's a big piece for this team in this upcoming season. I'm super surprised that they have him like on the fourth string. Moses Moody's going to get minutes before Dante DiVincenzo. Maybe not in the regular season, like at the start of the regular season, because they just signed Dante DiVincenzo and Moses Moody is still coming off his rookie season, so they might be like, "Hey, Rook, you got to prove yourself." But he will earn those minutes. I fully believe he will earn those minutes. And I think as long as everybody buys in, they have more than enough ability and more than enough talent to make their way to the NBA Finals for the second straight year and pull the Kobe repeat with Curry. And I fully believe that's going to happen. Barring injury or barring, I don't know, some real tough luck, I think that this team really has a good shot to repeat. And I would be surprised if they went home before the conference finals. That being said, I think that's probably their best case scenario, obviously repeating. And their worst case scenario is, I would say, second round out. I don't see this team being worse than that. I would be really, really shocked at. I mean, maybe even a conference finals out. I really think that this team is built to win. Maybe, and even though the Nuggets are back, and even though the Clippers are deeper than ever, I just don't see anybody not getting cooked by Steph Curry. and with this team's defense, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. All right, this went way long, but thank you so much for watching this video. So this went 18 minutes. Thank you. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.